Good morning and welcome to another short devotional for Black Rock Baptist Church and also Morristown Baptist Church. We're focusing upon Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23 this morning, and I want to talk to you about managing your thoughts. You know, God is far more interested in changing your mind than changing your circumstances. We want God to take away all our problems, all our pains, all our sorrows and suffering and sickness and sadness. But God wants to work on you first. Because transformation won't happen in your life until you renew your mind, until your thoughts begin to change. Why is it so important that you learn how to manage your mind and your thoughts? Let me give you three reasons. First of all, manage your mind because your thoughts control your life. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23 says, "Be careful how you think. Your life is shaped by your thoughts." Your thoughts are powerful. They have tremendous ability to shape your life for good or for bad. For example, maybe you accepted a thought that someone told you when you were growing up. They told you were worthless. You don't matter. If you accepted that thought, even though it was wrong, my friend, it shaped your life. Secondly, manage your mind because the mind is the battleground for sin. All temptation involves the mind. Paul says in Romans chapter 7, verses 22 and 23, he says, "I love to do God's will, so far as my new nature is concerned. But there is something else deep within me, in my lower nature, that is at war with my mind, and wins the fight, and makes me a slave to sin that is still within me." If in my mind I want to be God's willing servant, but instead I find myself enslaved to sin. One of the reasons we get mentally fatigued is because there's a battle in our brain 24 hours a day. It's debilitating because it's intense. And it's intense because our mind is our greatest asset. And Satan wants to control our greatest asset. He wants to control our minds. So manage your mind because your thoughts control your life. Manage your mind because the mind is the battleground for sin. And then finally, manage your mind because it's the key to peace and happiness. An unmanaged mind leads to tension. A managed mind leads to tranquility. An unmanaged mind leads to conflict. A managed mind leads to confidence. An unmanaged mind leads to stress. When you don't try to control your mind and the way you direct your thoughts, you will have an enormous amount of stress in your life. But a managed mind leads to strength and security and serenity. Romans chapter 8, verse 6 says, "Letting your sinful nature control your mind leads to death, but letting the Spirit control your mind leads to life and peace." God bless. Have a great day. And until we meet again, let's continue to exchange prayers daily.